Okay, if I can get your attention, we'll get started. Okay. All right, so a few organizational things at the top, and then we'll get started. I've been away. I went to the Society for Personality and Social Psychology annual meetings, and they were amazing. I came back with all this information I can't wait to share with you. I guarantee you all wish you'd been there. It was amazing. It was really weird. It was in Tampa, and they had some kind of Mardi Gras like pirate festival in Tampa. Any of you ever been to this thing? Yeah, right? It's absurd. It was like the Hobbesian state of nature meets like the last night at Studio 54. Like it was very real. The humanity was over the top. People with like beads, vomiting, and using the bathroom like openly on the street, just craziness. Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah. All right, not appropriate. Okay, so a few organizational things. Don't send Nora emails from class because then you tip us off to the fact that you're not paying attention in class and you're sending Nora emails. I've been meaning to tell you guys that. You've been doing that, and we noticed. We're aware of this. Also, be sure to be emailing Nora. If I get your attention, please be sure to be emailing Nora organizational type questions or I miss class. Did I miss anything? In general, we prefer you not to send did I miss class? Did I miss anything? Messages because yes, we always are doing something worthwhile here, or at least Nora and I think we are. And it's also a webcast, so you can just go online and find out what you missed. So, but yeah, keep those things going to Nora. Also, Nora's late today because her bus like exploded, or so not exploded, but like something. She's alive, she's good, but something crazy happened with her bus. So be sure to email her these everyday things. If you email me, I would love to be able to address these concerns. If it was like a 40-person class, but it's so not. So I just can't cover all of your requests, and Nora is specifically employed to do exactly that. Also, another organizational thing, to try to minimize the amount of just kind of day-to-day organizational stuff where you have these very valid, reasonable questions, but we can't field all of your emails. Why don't we do the thing where you introduce yourself to your neighbor now? I want you to introduce yourself to both neighbors. If you would like, get contact information so that if you miss class, you can find out what happened, and they'll tell you if anything happened in class. And let's do that now. Introduce yourself to both your neighbors. Thank you. We only have one neighbor. If I could, okay, you don't have to tell them your whole life story, you just introduce yourself. Okay, thanks a lot for doing that. That's great. This will give you, one or two contact people. If you were unlucky enough to be sitting on the end, you only have one friend now, but if you sat in the middle, now everybody knows you and loves you and understands you for who you really are. This is good. Now you have a contact person. You can email them. It's just like a routine day-to-day thing. And I want to say that when I was an undergraduate, I would have been the kind of person who would started climbing under like my desk as soon as I was told to introduce the people on both sides because I'm painfully shy. So I appreciate you doing this. And then my neighbors would have been like, thank God that guy climbed under his desk because I don't want to be friends with him. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about very briefly is the film, which we're going to go into more detail on the film when we cover obedience to authority, which will be in a couple weeks. So I don't want to go into a lot of detail, but did you all like the film? Did you enjoy it? I thought it was kind of cool. Better than watching the Milgram film again. All right, cool. Again, I was a very dorky person. Of course, I'm not like that anymore. But when I was in grad school, we used to have like parties where we would project the original Milgram film like across the dance floor. And yeah, that's how bad. It's pretty bad. I know. Like 3 of you are going to do that though. That's the great thing. Like 447 of you are like, I'm never coming back to this class, and 3 of you will be dancing to the Milgram film this weekend. One thing that's interesting about the film, right, is that they pretty much straight replicate the Milgram findings, right? The rates of obedience are really similar. The difference in rates of obedience, you shouldn't put a lot of stock in them because it could just be randomness. I mean, they pretty much find the same finding that Milgram found in the early 60s, right? But one thing that I just want to note, did you notice anything about that one guy, the one that was really good and wouldn't do it, Did you notice anything specific about him, any thoughts you might have on him? He was maybe a hippie. Was he a hippie? Maybe? I don't know that he was. Yeah. Yeah, he said he was a nonconformist. Did you? Yes. Yeah. I like that. He kind of, he stuck up for himself. He was very independent, and he was kind of pissed off too about the situation. Yeah. Was he a computer scientist? Ah, interesting. Well, that makes sense, because computer scientists are good people by nature. Yeah. There's this mythology about the original Milgram experiment that the people that didn't go all the way, there were 2 professions of people that wouldn't go all the way. Doctors, because they take the Hippocratic Oath or whatever, and electricians or electrical workers, because they know like what this means, like 450 volts. Like they couldn't self-deceive themselves into thinking, oh, this won't kill the person, But that's bogus. I've read a lot of stuff about the Milgram film. I think that's just an urban legend. Okay. Really? I don't think that's the case. Okay, well, Sonny and I are having a disagreement. We'll continue this after class. Okay, so one other thing about the guy, I don't want to talk to you about that. So one thing about the guy that I noticed, what did you see his t-shirt? Did you see what was on his t-shirt? Otters. Yeah, it was like a Monterey Bay Aquarium with these cute otters on his t-shirt. And I don't know about you, but I would totally trust the guy with like otters all over his t-shirt. And I think that validates that, because otters are awesome. So, okay, that's something that I noticed, and I had trouble focusing on his behavior because I kept watching the otters. You know, I'd be like, man, that guy's got the coolest otter t-shirt. Okay, all right, that was the main thing I wanted to learn from that film. Also, the McDonald's thing, how freaky was that, huh? Like, whoa. Yeah, you can go online and read more about that. I guess that person or multiple people did that scam many, many times around the country. No, they think it was one guy. I think it was like a former policeman. He finally got busted. Didn't you know this? It seems like a former policeman. Anyway, he was? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, you can go online and learn more about that, but that's totally freaky and terrifying. Okay, so this week we're going to start, so kind of take that obedience stuff in the back of your head, and we'll bring it back in a couple weeks. Basically, I had to be out of town at that conference, so I figured that'd be a good time to watch a film, and also break up these lectures, which are becoming, probably pretty monotonous for you. So, we have wrapped the cognitive biases part of the class for the time being. When we come back later in the semester to automaticity and reading the Wilson book, as well as the Height book later on, we'll be talking more about the same kind of material we're doing in the cognitive biases lectures. But for the time being, we're going to go up in levels of analysis, and there's this kind of wave in the class where we start at a very individual level with cognition and cognitive biases, then we go up to like conformity and obedience and status and stuff like that, and then eventually we're going to come back down in levels of analysis towards the end of the class and talk about some more psychological type phenomena like automaticity, which is basically unconscious influences on your behavior, happiness, and some other topics like that. So for now, we're headed up, so it's time to be very, very excited. Strap on your intellectual seatbelts. It's going to be big. But to touch on the cognitive biases thing, I want to again emphasize the role of the essay assignment, which fills out a sort of third level of learning that I'm expecting you to try to engage in a class, where we're not just going to learn ideas, the evidence for and against those ideas, but also try to apply those ideas to our everyday life. And the idea of the essay assignment is to get you to take the perspective of the other in a situation probably pretty challenging to take perspective of the other. One where you had a conflict and you thought you were right, and even if you had a balanced perspective, I asked you to essentially adopt an imbalanced perspective, just go off on the person, because whether you did that in that conflict or not, we do that sometimes, right? And we do find it hard to take a perspective of the other. And I hope that by the end of that assignment, even if you were still right, in some objective sense about your argument, maybe somebody really was being an asshole to you or something like that, that you at least, maybe profit from this exercise, I hope. At least when I was an undergraduate, I was so bad at taking the perspective of the other that it was a very useful assignment for me. So hopefully you guys didn't have as far to go as I did, but it was useful for me, and that's why I assigned it. So now we're leaving cognitive biases, we're heading up in levels of analysis, and I think the natural thing to go to first, if you're going to start talking more about how people interact with one another, is to talk about conformity. And conformity is one of the first research topics that psychological social psychologists really got into. Sociological social psychologists also got into conformity a little bit later, but a nice way to sort of trace the evolution of the study of interpersonal behavior and the way that people interact with one another is to start with conformity. So that's what we're doing. And today, we're going to focus on the Sharif and Ash experiments. And those are people, Muzaffar Sharif and Solomon Ash. Okay, so what is conformity? Conformity is the tendency of individuals to change their expressed views and attitudes to those of others. And it's a very simple definition. It's probably roughly what you thought conformity was when you came in. But hopefully, we're going to kind of complicate that, tweak that out, and give you a more nuanced sense of how conformity works, the conditions under which it works, the extent of conformity pressures, and some fundamental distinctions in types of conformity pressures. And hopefully, I'll impart that to you by the end of this lecture. Okay, so the first major conformity study was conducted by Floyd Alport in 1924. And Floyd Alport was one of a pair of brothers who grew up in, I think, Indiana. I cheated. I looked that up earlier. I didn't just think of that. Okay, so Floyd, and do you know his brother's name? Ray? Red? Floyd? No, he's Floyd. Lloyd. Oh, that's a good guess. That's good. Floyd and Lloyd. That's exactly right. Floyd and Lloyd Alport. No, they didn't do that in those days. Floyd and Gordon Alport. Much cooler name. So Floyd and Gordon Alport grew up together in Indiana and then became two of the most famous psychologists of the first half of the 20th century. And they became famous for different reasons. Floyd Alport became famous for largely this research. He was a social psychologist. Gordon Alport was also a social psychologist, but also a personality psychologist, and was one of the first really famous personality psychologists. So that's kind of interesting, right? Since one of the themes of this class is that the individual matters less than you think, and that the situation matters more. And even amongst these brothers, they disagreed on this point. With Floyd being more of a pure social psychologist and Gordon being a personality psychologist. And actually, another interesting thing about them, Gordon Alport was famous for he had gone to Vienna to visit with Freud, and I don't remember, very early in the 20th century. Met with Freud, had told Freud, kind of trying to make conversation with Freud, like the most famous psychologist in history at the time, and maybe even now. He's nervous, he's trying to make conversation with Freud. He tells some story about some kid he saw doing something on the train ride over. He's just trying to make conversation with this famous guy, and Freud just kind of sits there, scratching his beard, and then is like, "You, sir, have a dirt fetish." And Gordon didn't even know what that meant, and no one really knows what that means and why the story led him to think that. But Gordon Alport was pissed off, as you probably would be if somebody sat there and was like, "You have a dirt fetish." And as a result, American psychology distanced itself from Freudian psychology. It really had this big effect on the evolution of American psychology because Gordon Alport, well, maybe he would have rejected Freud's ideas anyway, since a lot of them are really lame. But this did kind of accelerate things because Freud was not very politically savvy in this interaction. So anyway, Floyd Alport in 1924 designed the first modern lab study of conformity. There's other studies that are kind of like conformity. This one is specifically about conformity pressures and what they do. So in the study, he had participants rate the pleasantness or unpleasantness of a series of odors. This sounds like a study that you would want to be in, right? You get a bunch of graduated cylinders with vile odors in them, and you rate just how unpleasant those odors are. And the finding, pretty simple finding, was that people tended to avoid making extreme judgments in the presence of others. So when people were run individually in the study, they'd be like, "Oh, that's an awful, awful smell. Oh, that's a wonderful smell, Professor Alport." When they were in group settings, they tended to try to avoid this. And Alport called this a moderation effect. That people tended to moderate their judgments in the presence of others. And does this ring a bell, like from everyday life? Like when you're asked to give your opinion in some group setting and you don't know what everybody else thinks yet, you kind of try to sit there in the middle and you're like, "Oh yeah, I kind of like that movie. I kind of disliked that movie. What did you think?" Because you don't want to take a position and then look like an idiot and wind up disagreeing with people because you have no true beliefs. You're totally capricious. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, so people did this phenomenon of not giving their strongest opinion that they would give in private because they're sort of thinking, "Oh, I don't want to set myself up to be massively disagreeing with these people." Okay. Ironically, Floyd Alport gave a sort of Freudian-type explanation saying that there's an instinctual submission to the group. That sounds sort of like Freudian language. But isn't that far from the truth, that people conform to group attitudes? Okay, so that's the Alport study. Gordon and Floyd Alport brothers, we'll talk about them again later in the semester. Very interesting. You could call them the dynamic duo if you wish. Okay, so the next conformity study happens in 1936, and this one's really famous. And this was conducted by Muzaffar Sharif, who was born in Turkey but immigrated to America and was a famous American social psychologist. And Sharif was interested in norm formation. Well, he was interested in a lot of stuff. He was interested in intergroup conflict, and we're going to talk about him again when we do intergroup conflict later in the semester. But For the time being, we'll talk about his interest in norm formation. And he had a huge influence on the evolution of thought about conformity and social norms. And what he was interested in was how is it that groups come to uniformity in their opinions about things. So Alport had this demonstration about moderation of opinion in front of others. And what Sharif is interested in is when do we obey norms? When is it the case that some social norm emerges in a group that everybody obeys and everybody ends up saying and doing the same thing? So this is what Sharif was interested in. And before I tell you about the study, I want to tell you one interesting thing about Sharif. I just heard this about a year ago. He used to go to work. He used to wear a cape to work, like a vampire or something. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't have any idea why he did that, but he wore a cape. What's more, I heard he wore a cape and short sleeves. Right? That's kind of tacky, right? You can't. If you're gonna wear a cape, you gotta wear long sleeves. I feel like I've never seen somebody with a cape, but I don't think I could pull off with the short sleeves. Okay, so I tell you that. So, what Sharif needed was some kind of stimulus to do his studies on social norms. It was very ambiguous. Some kind of stimulus where he could use group pressure to sort of push individual opinion around. Okay, and he wanted so he wanted something really ambiguous, where you weren't really sure what the right answer was. So, Sharif was reading some scientific papers and came along with this thing called the autokinetic effect. Have you ever heard of the autokinetic effect? So the autokinetic effect is this tendency in the course of perception, in the course of vision, for us to not be very good at holding fixed points of light steady in our vision against an all-black background. And it's something that they noticed first with astronomical observation. So, astronomers who are documenting the movement of the stars to the heavens would be looking through these telescopes. It would be totally black at night, and they've got this one star, and they're trying to document where it is, and it seems to be moving, and it makes it very difficult to document exactly its location. But it was also an effect that was found, and this is when they started doing research on it, by pilots. And I think the Navy did research on it, the American Navy did research on it, because they'd be flying along, they'd be trying to follow some other plane, and it would be, this dot of light in front of them, and it would seem to move. And a lot of people actually think that some of the early reports of UFOs was actually people just having the autokinetic effect. Pilots having the autokinetic effect and being like, oh, clearly that's a UFO, this piece of light that's moving around. So here's a diagram of the autokinetic effect. I don't really have anything to say about this except that it looks cool. Okay, so point of light is here. You have trouble holding it steady. Okay, so great, that's what the eye looks like. Okay. In his studies, he ran two conditions in these studies. And he would either assign people to be in an individual experiment or an individual setting or a group setting. And what he did was he'd take a bunch of people, he'd take 1, 2, or 3 people, 1 if it's individual, 2 or 3 if it's a group setting, and put them in an entirely dark room and shine a bit of light against a wall. And if I can find that laser pointer thing, well, you can imagine what this looks like. And what he did was he told the participants in the study that it's moving, that the piece of light, or the dot of light is going to move around, and that they should identify how much it moves in inches. But knowing that the autokinetic effect makes the thing bounce around sort of erratically in your vision, or appear to, he actually just fixed it. So it's actually just a fixed point of light, but it appears to move around because we have this autokinetic effect. So he didn't actually move the thing. And I've been in a study like this, or a replication of the Sharif study, and it was pretty cool. I'm just going to tell you that. Okay, so in the individual experiments, what he found was that participants would say, a pretty big estimate at first. They'd say, oh, it moved like a foot, and maybe they'd say, this, on the next trial, he'd say, okay, I'm going to move it now, tell me how far it moves. They'd say, oh, it didn't move that time, it was like 0 inches, and then the next trial, they'd say 2 inches. And what he found was that people tended to gravitate towards some kind of personal standard, some kind of estimate of how much it moves. Why do people do that? I guess because it's this really ambiguous situation, and they just don't know what the right answer is. So they sort of take their past estimates as evidence for like what the next best estimate is. So people at first will say, it moves a lot, no, this time it didn't move much at all, now it's somewhere in the middle, now it's somewhere in the middle, and people they're trying to give a credible answer in this setting, so they gravitate towards more moderate answers, sort of like a private moderation effect. So that's what happens in private. You sort of develop a standard for what's plausible for instance, light is moving, and you keep kind of saying that standard. In the group experiments, you would bring in 2 or 3 people at once, put them in the dark room, put a red light on the wall, and have them give judgments again about how much the light moved, and have them go in random order, so there wouldn't be order effects. So that, Joe is a really influential person, and, Jerry is easily influenced. We don't always have Joe influencing Jerry. So he would randomize the order each time. He'd be like, okay, this time, Susan goes first, and Sally goes second. So what he found was 2 kinds of influence. Remember that on each trial, everybody estimates. He's like, okay, I'm going to move the light, and everybody should estimate how much it moves. And everybody gets an estimate in a random order. And he says, okay, we're going to do another trial. Now everybody estimate how far the light moves, again, in a randomized order. He just does that several rounds. And what he observed was 2 sorts of influence. One, within trial influence. Within a trial, the first person might go, it moved 1.5 feet. And then the second person would say, oh, it moved 9 inches. And the next person would say, it moved 12 inches. And there'd be this tendency across the trial for like the 3 people to give pretty similar answers. There was this kind of conformity within the trial. But then he also found in a cross-trial kind of conformity where there's some kind of general tendency, even though he was saying I'm going to move it a different amount this trial than last time, people would kind of stick to whatever was the sort of answer, the average answer from the previous round. Does this make sense? Okay, so no, that's not good. Whenever nobody says anything, I get nervous. Okay, all right. Within trial and cross-trial conformity is going on as people sort of gravitate towards the group average conformity, right? So some sessions he would, so in some additional sessions, or no, in the same group sessions, he would start people either individually in separate rooms showing the red light against the wall, against this black background, or he would start them in a group and then break them up into individuals. So 2 different types of research now that I'm talking about. You start individually and then you're put in a group setting, or you start in a group setting and then you split off into the individual settings. And what he observed was, I really wish I had that laser pointer now. So what he observed was, anyway, in the individual, so here's 2, this is the actual data from the paper that he published in 1936. Here's the individual first, and then they're broken up into groups. Or sorry, then they're put together into groups. And then here's, they're in groups, and then they're broken up into individual sessions. Does this make sense? Okay, and then this is like 4 different groups in each condition. Okay, and these are all 2-person groups, subject 1, subject 2. And this is their estimate in inches of how much this is moving. And these are raw data. These are not average or anything. This is 4 sessions of 2 people starting out as individuals and then going into the group. And they go into the group on the second trial, I think. And in the group setting, yes, they start individual and they go group. In this one, they start group, and then they go individual. Now, what he's interested in here, oh, sweet, thank you. Yeah, this thing is cool. Aha, all right. Ooh, it's green, all right. So, okay, so here, look here, and there, and there, and there. Here, these individuals give these initially very different estimates, right? One person's saying, oh, it's moving 3 inches, this person's saying it's moving 8 inches, This person's saying it didn't move at all, this person's saying it moved 3.5 inches. But then they're put in a group, and what happens, this is them getting the ratings individually, right? They don't even know what the other person's ratings are. But